Hello, YouTube. It's your boy, the Passport Bro Wingman, coming at you again with another YouTube video. And the title of this video is um, Keep Away Passport Bros from Our Daughter, Says Some Fathers, Local Men Only. And the way this video came about was sometimes I read a lot of the comments, and I was looking at some comments on some other Passport Bros pages as well. And one comment one person had made was one of the things they do when they go overseas is they typically don't tell some of the women that they're actually like foreign. They try to blend in with the culture there, and if anything else, try to at least let the girls know that they're going to be there for a while. They're not just there on a vacation, and they're not trying to just hook up with a few girls and just bounce and leave. And the logic behind this was that sometimes there are some girls, when they find out you're a foreigner, they might not want to date you because they're going to look at you as like just a sex tourist or somebody just there to hook up with women and then bounce and just use them for what they're worth, for what you perceive as a tourist is, what you perceive them as worth. Let me put it that way. And so I just kind of wanted to touch on this a little bit. It kind of touched into some of the other videos I might have done as well. And I just wanted to give my response to this whole situation. And, I'll say this. There probably are some women there that, typically when they find out you're a tourist, they don't want to deal with you. A lot of times, me, myself, I've met women mostly through a lot of like the apps and that kind of thing. And then occasionally like some cold approach here and there. So the good thing about the apps is that obviously, the biggest thing is that they're obviously looking for not just local men, but foreign men. So I actually, when I do that, because I use like apps like Badoo, like the American Cupid, that kind of thing. Generally, the women on there, they're looking for men outside of just like the local men as well. There's even like on a lot of these apps, especially like Latin American Cupid, there's a actual check, they actually have to select whether or not they're looking for somebody outside of their country, in their country. So right away if they're going to be somebody that'll deal with like a foreign man or not. So excuse me. In this case, it's not really necessary for me to come up with some type of story. They already know that I visit there, regularly, and that kind of thing. So I never really have that much of an issue. But I do understand that for a lot of guys that they don't use the apps. They just do more like cold approach, or they meet like in groups and that kind of thing. I definitely can see there are situations where some girl, she finds out that you're not local. She might not want to deal with you because she might think you're just there for games and that kind of thing. And there might even be like, fathers or family members that don't necessarily want their daughter or their niece or, that kind of thing dating a foreign man, just for the fact that they think, well, one of the other reasons no one kind of thinks about as well is that even though you might meet a girl in some of these foreign countries, what happens if you guys get really, really close, you start a really nice relationship, and then you kind of want to bring her back to the States, but she doesn't want to go. Or she says she wants to go, but her family doesn't want her to go. So now you have the pressure of her family saying that they don't want her to go somewhere far away where they can't see her, that kind of thing. And excuse me, in my opinion, I think this happens more often in like I'm gonna say more the countries that are a little bit richer in some of these in like South America, Asia, that kind of thing. For example, maybe Argentina, or for example, a lot of guys go to Europe, and instead of going to like Eastern Europe, they might find a girl like in Germany and date some of the women there. But the thing is, the economy there is really, really great. It's not a lot of incentive for anybody to really leave. So in that case, what you might wind up having is you might meet a girl that you really like, but she may want you to live there with her. You may want to bring her back to the States. So now you got this like tug of war type of situation going on. Or as I said before, maybe her family pressures her and try to ask her, why can't you just find like a local person to kind of date? But I would say this overall, whether you go to Southeast Asia, South America, parts of Africa, Eastern Europe, there are plenty of women there that would definitely be open to dating a foreign man and even leaving to go to your country for a better life where they can There's there's a YouTuber I follow named like Big Truck, and he pretty much was saying the same thing. Like, a lot of times, so since they have like a lot of times some of the girls there are like taking care of their family members and helping out with the finances. They would definitely like to, maybe once you guys get, very close, when she goes back to you to your country, she gets her own job, and that way for the money she makes, she can send that to her family and look after them and that kind of thing. So it's a ton of women that would definitely be up for that. And most of the families are, of course, very, very supportive of that. If you think about the fact that there's so many people trying to get into our border, trying to get into our country. I think they were saying, I think in 1 month, one time, there was about, I want to say they arrested, I want to say like 200,000 legal immigrants, and they wind up, of course, like deporting them. But I say that to say, it's for one, it's very hard to just come over into our country. Like, another way is obviously if you obviously can meet somebody, and you're able to start like a real legitimate relationship with them, and they're open to it. I mean, what's better than that? You can definitely give them a better life. Not to say that, all the women there are just wanting to leave. No, there's a lot of women also there that just want to stay. And some guys, in general, the rule has always been, don't bring her back to the States. Don't bring her back to your country. You just, marry her there, take care of her there, and stay there. And a lot of women, they're okay with that as well. I only say that to say that more often than not, you'll find out that the families, including the father, is supportive of his daughter marrying a foreigner. And in many cases, he may want to meet you. He's going to greet you, that kind of thing. For example, in my case, I actually dating like a Venezuelan woman right now, and I've already met like her mother. I've met her grandfather. They welcomed me. They live in Venezuela. They wanted me to actually, when she went to visit them, they actually wanted me to come there to kind of, to pretty much to host me where I'm there. So I said it to say a lot of times, I want to say majority of women I've met, they all, once I've met like their parents and family, they were very open and warm and welcoming to me. I've yet to really meet one that really had an issue with their daughter dating like a foreigner. And I've even met some women that have dated foreigners before they had even met me, that kind of thing. So I just want to let you know, definitely in most of South America, definitely Southeast Asia, such as the Philippines, Thailand, they're definitely open to dating foreigners. Occasionally here and there, maybe you may meet a woman who's like, well, I can't date a foreigner, or maybe randomly her father doesn't want her to do it. But as I told you before, in countries such as Thailand, I've actually been approached by, it was a guy in a taxi, and he pretty much tried to introduce me to his daughter to, pretty much to start dating her. So, and this is not uncommon. Other men, especially some of the subscribers, have told me similar stories where like some of the fathers have actually tried to introduce their daughter to, some of the foreign men there. So I said it to say, more often than not, you're going to meet fathers and family members that are more supportive than they are unsupportive. Keep in mind that in some countries the situations have gotten so dire and rough that some men have, unfortunately, which I don't endorse, no one on this channel endorses, there have been situations in Asia where I've seen like some fathers that actually have tried to prostitute their daughters out, which is a very sad thing. But ask yourself this: would a father rather, let's say like things get so bad in his country or in his city, do you think he would rather have to do that to survive or to feed his daughter, or do you think he would feel better off maybe finding a foreign guy that seems like he's a good working, stable guy, he has a lot going for him, and he's interested in his daughter and she's interested in him? Which of those options do you think more than likely a father would rather his daughter do? Of course, the second option. If she finds a foreign guy, he's really into her, she's really into him, definitely he would, be into it. I know I would in that type of, scenario. Between those obvious two choices. So yeah, so I mean, I don't want to keep the video too long, but in my opinion, I would just say if you do happen to run into a woman or, that has like a father or family member that's just like, well, I don't want them dating a foreigner because I think that, he's going to cheat on her, or he's going to, just going to try to use her or something like that, I would just pass, and more than likely going to find the exact opposite of the next woman. I would just do that. I actually wouldn't be that worried about it. But I do know like some guys, because they tend to be a little bit more picky about some of the girls they deal with. They may want to talk to a lot of like, women that like are, upper class, middle class, that kind of thing. Me personally, I actually don't care as much about like, I'll date girls that work at the mall, work at like a hot dog stand, that kind. I'm not, I'm not that big on as far as like their level of class. As long as they're a good girl, they take care of me. Obviously they're not like a working girl or something like that. For the most part, good. They have good character. They take care of me. We have we're a good match. I'm not as focused about their, finances and like so much like the type of job they have. In fact, it might be better to kind of steer more so on the middle class or like lower, just for the fact that if we're already dealing with a situation in America where some women feel like because they make a certain amount, they don't need you. It doesn't really make any sense for me to go to another country and deal with like the exact same situation. Kind of like TJX said, I'm kind of looking more for like a woman I can kind of pour into and kind of build up, and if a woman already feels like she's already built up, she doesn't need me, there's no real place for me to be there. So, yeah, and there was one other point I wanted to bring up. It escapes me at the moment. So I'm just gonna park and end this video here. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the thumbs up button. Please leave some comments as well. I would love to hear your take on this whole situation. And until next time, this is the Passport Bro Wingman signing off.